Word Balloon is brought to you by the League of Word Balloon Listeners. Welcome back, everybody. It's time again for another episode of Oh Yeah, Trek Watch. John Suntress here, Mitch Halleck here, Franco here. Wayne is here. Good to see Wayne. Wayne, our correspondent who went off to the Star Trek convention in Las Vegas. We wanted a report. We'll get to a report. But first, let's talk about the latest episode of Lower Decks. It's episode 2. I have no idea what the title was, but look, it's one of those Darmok at Tanagra guys, which is awesome. So, first of all, let's go around the horn, and I'll go last. But from 1 to 4 stars, Wayne, what'd you think of the episode? Wayne,
2.
Okay. Look, maybe he's frozen.
I'll give it up. I'll give it up.
Okay.
I'll give it one of them.
I understand. No, but like, is there? All right, so 0.
I guess 1. I thought it was better than last week, but like that's a very slim bar, I think.
I understand. Mitch?
I liked it.
That's fine. I'll even say, believe it or not, I'm giving it 2.5.
I give 3.
And that's fine. No, I understand. Very quickly, I'll say on the surface before we get into the granular, the jokes still aren't funny. I hate the simplification of the stories. All that said, setting it in a collector setting and it being all about Easter eggs, I would have been fine if they would have erased all the characters and just given us like kind of a travel log of the collector's area so we could look at everything. And a lot of these Easter eggs, I didn't even like pick up on, and it made me want to see it again. So from that standpoint, I'll give it a 2.5. But again, the main things about it still annoy the shit out of me. But go ahead, everybody. Anybody else's thoughts?
I can't decide which one I'm disliking more, this or the Orville at this point. I really no, I'm serious. I mean,
I get
it. Discovery for me is a letdown, and I complain about the story, but at least that's got more Trek in it than I don't know. It's just the opening scene wasn't funny with the communal showers. Although, hey, communal showers. And, if they're going to drop F-bombs, why are they not showing boobs and asses?
Well, I noticed we got like, classic side boob if you're a Family Guy fan. And that's funny. Yeah, I mean, it's low hang. It's fine. Give us more, please. I'm sorry. They just lean too hard on just obvious things. Go ahead, Mitch. Talk about what you
No,
like.
I was going to say the reason why I kind of liked it is the only reason why I like the other shows when they do it is I like the serious, somewhat serious sci-fi angle. And when they were like, oh, we have to get away from these bad guys. And he's like, wait, Riker was bounced off a transporter. See, I like all that stuff because it refers to old stuff. And I'm like, hey, that's good. But the jokes suck. I'll give you that. They're not funny at all.
The Titan storyline I thought was great. Yeah. And I will say great.
I didn't, and I'll tell you why. Because they're rehashing something that already happened. Like, you know, you can see it coming a mile away with the clone Riker with Tom Riker, and then at the end we have two Boimlers, which one annoyed the shit out of me, but now we got two, and that annoys me twice as much.
See, I thought that was a clever solution to how they were going to get him back on the ship, and I didn't see it coming. So I said, you know what? I'll give them credit for coming up with something original. Because they had to get him onto the Cerritos.
I don't know. I saw it telegraphed. I didn't see it. I didn't see it like really coming out of nowhere.
I didn't see a duplicate Riker coming. But that said, I think this is Boimler's best episode. Again, I just disagree with the philosophy of the show because it's like, oh, look at Boimler, what a tool, and it's like, no, Boimler's Starfleet. I don't know how to break it to you. And we like Star Trek fans. We like Starfleet. We're big fans of people who want to be in Starfleet and want to achieve. And yeah, he's scared, and I get that. But again, occasionally, even last season, Boimler is competent. Boimler actually, I mean, there's the one with the Ferengi. Fuck you, writers. I'm sorry. Again, I'm talking about, like, and I forget which one, but there was an invasion on the ship with all these people with spears and stuff. Boimler's just like, all right, I got a phaser. Bing, bing, bing. You know, shit like that. And I love that he was a good problem solver on the Titan despite his fear. And so all that was fun. Unlike, again, the usual, like, again, Mariner competing with that other ensign and stuff. Like, I don't care. Don't care. Fuck you. Yeah.
No,
wow, you suck because you're so by the book.
Even then it's always subsurface Starfleet because they're arguing back and forth about who should be in charge. And isn't there a command hierarchy here? Wouldn't all of you in the group know which one is in charge?
But aren't they all ensigns? I don't know.
I thought they all were. They all had one pip.
Yeah, because that was the joke at the end that it was
because they had two at the
end. You know, instead of a pip. I don't know, Wayne. What do you know? Any thoughts on what
you
heard so far?
What I liked was all the Easter eggs because it reminded me of like Future Imperfect.
100%.
When we saw the gallery that the Hulk had with all the artifacts from the Marvel heroes.
Sure.
You had the huge Spock that was in the gallery.
Is that what that was?
Is that who that
was?
Exactly.
And
Franco,
the animated series.
I did not even think of that until I went to, I want to give them credit, denofgeek.com has a great granular look at the episode. And again, forgive me, everybody, because I want to like this every goddamn week. It was great that we got all these different Easter egg totems. I would have gotten out of the way and focused more on those as opposed to the really fast dialogue that really isn't funny. But we're going to go to another cut. Boom. And it's like, okay, again, it's like, no, I want to notice. I mean, guys, all right. I want to read off various totems that are in the collection, and did you guys recognize these? Say yes, because I'm looking at Den of Geek. You can flip me off during this point right now too. The Captain Picard paper mache head from Captain Picard Day. Did you guys see it?
No.
Yeah, I missed it.
So did I. Wayne?
No, I didn't see it.
There you go. Okay, the game device from the Wesley Ashley Judd episode. Yep. I saw that too.
Yeah. I think I'm blinking too much when I'm watching these episodes.
Exactly. Well, you know, honestly, man, I'm watching it on my laptop, and I'm like, maybe I should have put it on the big screen, and I would have caught some of this shit. They have a pair of Marty McFly shoes.
Yeah,
I didn't recognize that because I wasn't looking for it. A Terran Empire flag from Mirror Mirror. Khan's necklace. Do you realize my necklace is the collector?
No.
Maybe that's the problem with this show. It's maybe I'm watching the wrong episodes.
Well, that's no, but again, this is where the focus should be instead of bullshit Mariner, bullshit, you know, whatever. And again, Tendi and Rutherford, okay, fine.
Well, you know, my theory is that if the jokes hit and it was funny, I'd watch them again and maybe pick some of this stuff up. I don't pick up all this stuff on the first viewing.
Of course,
not even in Marvel movies when someone points out, "Oh, did you see this or did you see that?" Like, I don't on the first time, maybe. Like, I might miss some, but that's the fun in going back and watching it again and seeing what you can pick up.
Well,
I don't want to watch any of these again.
But in those cases, Franco, we're entertained by the surface story and characters.
Exactly.
So it is a pleasure to go back and dive further. When your story and characters suck, it's really hard. And again, I really loved all the Titan shit. I thought that was fantastic. I want to watch that cartoon.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you read the books. You read the books. Were those characters in the Titan books?
Honestly, it's been so long, and I so focus. I mean, I'm focusing on Tuvok, Riker, Troy. I love that Tuvok's on the Titan after Voyager and shit like that. I love it's been a while, and I've almost purposely saved so many of these paperbacks that, one day I'm going to go grab one of those. Like I keep saying, I'm going to buy that Star Trek Coda story because it looks really cool. Yeah, all right. And Dante, it's funny. You're like, the better animated series on streaming apps currently is What If, not Lower Decks. Oh, we'll get to What If, I promise. Because I was thinking
when I was watching Lower Decks again today, I watched the first 2 episodes again, and if you're looking for a bumbling first character, think Archer, where Archer's funny.
Yeah,
they tell good stories,
right?
And the guy he's a total idiot.
He's a fuck up. Yeah,
right.
And he takes the spy genre, like Man from U.N.C.L.E., flips it, and it's funny. Like, it's serious and funny at the same time. There's not a lot of duds in any of their episodes.
Every season of Archer is hysterical. Even when they pivot and go in a completely different direction, like when he was in a coma and stuff like that. All of that is funny. It's great writing. It's funny.
When they did the old 40s movies.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that was a great season. Welcome to the Archer podcast. Yeah. I love this. No, honestly, I'm teasing, but absolutely, that's great.
When you think, if you're looking at a structure, and if you're trying to make fun of something, and also tell a serious story, Archer's great.
But honestly, Wayne, the guy comes from Rick and Morty. I mean,
he's
his name is on really, really exceptional Rick and Morty's. I don't know if you saw us last week, Wayne, but probably not because you were having a ball. Oh, that's nice. I was going to say you're having a ball at the convention, but I am seriously of the belief that these guys are being told on their first attempts, no, sorry, that's too mean or whatever. I'm surprised the Sonic Shower scene actually got in, frankly.
It just comes down to writing and what they're doing, and maybe they're getting cut off at the knees. That could be a good explanation, possibly. But I went and I watched the first 3 or 4 episodes of Jellystone on HBO Max, which takes all the Hanna-Barbera characters, and they are nothing like. I mean, they still have kind of like some of their idiosyncrasies, but it's all new. But it's funny. It's demented and funny, and it doesn't.
Attorney at law.
Yeah, when they're funny, like I will. This is just not funny. It just doesn't appeal to me at all.
Even that last Looney Tunes show, I thought was really good and funny. I agree with you, Francis. And again, it is this group of people, and again, you have to blame the man on top, just as you would credit Rick Berman before. And I guess fandom turned on Rick Berman at some point. I never did. Enterprise was kind of clunky and like, all right, and same with Voyager. Sometimes I'm like, all right, I feel like I'm watching, warmed over Next Generation, not as good as Next Generation, and even Enterprise was like kind of meandering for a while until that 4th season for me. But obviously these people love Star Trek because of all the Easter eggs. I want to go back to the list and keep going. There's a gold. I do remember seeing a gold original series uniform. There was a giant pink tribble. I didn't see that. There was. They had the salt vampires and stuff. I do remember that. And that reference was made. And then there's another list. So there was a Catan probe. I vaguely remember seeing that. That's the one from. Inner Light with when he's living the other life.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so glad you're well. Oh, I can't remember what was his name.
What, when Picard was on that thing?
Yeah, on the other Kanan.
Something like that.
Does that sound right? Oh, my friend.
Sounds right.
Oh, yeah. I'm doing his buddy. I've named my son after you, even though you're dead. What else? A Vulcan limpet weapon. Yeah, I saw Mariner carrying that from Mike Time. A Batleth, saw it. Would not recognize an Andorian dueling weapon. The Mars rover apparently was there. See, that's funny. That's what I'm saying. How come we're not seeing this shit? So, and of course, the sex helmet of.
How could you miss Lincoln?
Yeah.
Lincoln was
Abraham
there with
Lincoln
that
was there?
thing. Like you
Did not notice.
You didn't
Lincoln.
see that? Oh no, he
Did
had the
not
hat.
notice.
He had the spear in him. Like that was the biggest one. And they showed it a couple times.
Yeah,
It was there, and then they pivoted around it.
Maybe that's further down in this article.
Oh no, that was a big giveaway. So I thought that was cool.
But giant Vulcan was fantastic.
What's that from? I don't understand.
That's
the animated series.
The Infinite Vulcan.
Oh, okay.
Behold, Spock 2.
Now I know what you're talking
Bigger
about.
and better than the last Spock at a theater near you. Yes.
Gotcha.
Good stuff.
But this series just drops the ball in so many ways. Like, Darmok got Tanagra guy. They could have played that for so much more than what it was. And I will admit that was humorous to me. Yeah. But then again, they dropped the ball on that again. I thought it was very funny when they turned him into a puppet, and they're like, don't touch the puppet. That I laughed at. But again, they could do so much more.
I have a feeling, and I'm glad he is back to his normal self. I think there's a lot of much like Badgie. I bet you they're going to come back to him, and that's great. I'm even fine with attractive. I go by the book Starfleet guy being at it. I hope he comes back more. I got no problem with that. Yeah. I got no problem with that at all. Yeah. Again, he and Boimler, they're Starfleet. I don't know how to break it to you. And a badass. I do what I want. You're annoying and you're an asshole. Mm-hmm. And I will say it every week when she once again does something assholey. And of course she did. Yeah, as the Pope would say, it's assholey. It's all right. So anyway. No. But I liked Darmok at Tanagra being.
See, that's what's funny. Good. I laugh. The only time I laugh at this show is the other characters that I don't know, like the crew on the Titan when they were all laughing. It had 5 daycares and they had a quintet.
But that's fine. A quartet. Absolutely.
See that stuff I'm laughing at because they're kind of like the assholes of lower decks on the Titan. That would be the Mariner and all that, but you don't know them, and so it's funny. But if they were on every week, we'd probably be annoyed.
But they're not even. I didn't even think of them as jerks. Really, they're just gung ho about being on the Titan and being with Riker as a captain.
Right.
Well, that's all they know.
Like, really?
That's
but
all
I mean, even their lines were funny. Like, I'm going to miss Boimler. You're going to see him every day. His clone's here. That was funny. The lines on the other ship were funnier than the lines on our ship.
Like I said, I would rather watch the Titan cartoon than the Lower Decks cartoon. And I hope someone looks at those scenes and it's like, Futurama and The Simpsons coexisted, and Cleveland Show and Family Guy. Why not have a spinoff and just be the Adventures of the Titan and have fun with it? And again,
this could be like a backdoor pilot.
Yeah, maybe. God, and wouldn't it be great if Frakes can walk on water as far as I'm concerned. I love Frakes. He's an amazing guy. Did I tell you guys the story at the old at Brother Bear's old Orlando show?
FX show. Yeah.
Yeah. Were you there that night that Frakes was telling us the stories about? He was a Marvel model and would do Captain America.
I wasn't there that night because I probably was somewhere else, but I remember meeting him in the hotel lobby because he was standing right behind me checking into the hotel, and I said, you know what? I might never get this chance again. So I turned around and started talking to him. And he was very nice, very gracious. But I wasn't there that night with you.
Well, it was like me, John Hickman, Jim McCann. That's all I can remember as far as people that were there. And Frakes is at the bar. And, they introduced themselves as Marvel guys. And he's like, I used to be the live action Captain America in New York. And he said one night in particular, it was, and this is so fantastic. It's the mid-'70s, and it was a blood, sweat, and tears concert at Madison Square Garden or Yankee Stadium, wherever it was. And it was in the middle of summer, balls hot July. And he's like, it was in their rider, like the no brown M&Ms for a Van Halen concert. They just the bands will put goofy things in there to make sure that the concert promoter is doing everything to the letter that's in the contract. Do you ever have any BS like that, Mitch? Oh my! Without naming names, I'll be interested to hear the list after I finish the story. So anyway, one of the things is they wanted Marvel superheroes in the green room. So Riker as Captain America and Spider-Man show up, and they've got the masks on and stuff. And again, it's really, really hot. And the band sees that they're both perspiring, and they're like, "Hey, man, you guys can take off the masks. It's cool." So obviously, no problem with Frakes. He takes it off. Spider-Man refused to break character, never took the mask off, and would suck his beers through the baby bottles of beer and shit, like the old-fashioned little beers and stuff. And that's how he was drinking beer. And Riker's telling us this, and we're laughing. It is a marvelous night at 10 forward.
Do you know what the difference is there? So Riker winds up on Star Trek, and that other guy in the Spidey costume was Robert De Niro. And look at the path their two careers took.
I'm committed. Right? I'm committed. Exactly. I'm not going to break character for you, Ray. I understand. I get it. So, Mitch, do you want to, without naming names, any crazy? Or
it's not crazy. It's certain foods. Some certain
sure.
writer, artist, director has to have 2 pounds of cashew nuts, 2 glasses of whole milk, and 3 cheeseburgers available to him after his performance. So what happened is the nuts were sitting there, and my 2 friends, Mike and Mike, didn't know. So they just started eating the cashews and the nuts. And when he got off stage, he walked back there and had a shit fit because the fucking cashews were gone. And I was like, "Oh my God, you ate the cashews." They didn't know. They're like spitting them out. Like what? They were just a big bowl of cashews. I didn't know.
You put them back in the bowl. We pre-shoot them for you. What?
He walks in the green room and there's the milk. It's an odd choice though. The milk and all that. I'm like, milk and hamburgers, really? But the cashews was even weirder too.
That's a good point.
And,
Spidey, by the way,
who knows?
Horrible. Who knows? Pardon me, real fast. I want to acknowledge Skokie Spidey's comment because he's the man who is stayed in character doing cosplay for the OIS stores. If you're gonna wear the suit, you play the part the whole time. Please continue, Mitch.
No. I just remember them spitting the cashews out, and he started having like a little hissy fit. And it's like, you've got the other food there. We'll get you some freaking cashews.
Or it's like, hey man, we're really sorry. Obviously, we can get more. We made the attempt. Just relax.
And then we have one famous artist who stole all the food from the green room and gave it to his family, and then there was no food for the actors when they came back there. That was
I apologize that
wasn't you.
Oh, okay.
That was somebody else.
I will confess for Terrificon that I did grab many of the.
Oh, that's fine.
No, the granola bars.
Yeah.
And I'm just because again, you sit in the hotel, weird hours.
No.
It's like, oh, I'm really fucking hungry. And all right, there we go. I got a granola bar.
No, I remember yelling at poor Garcia Lopez. After the food was stolen and we had to order $600 more food for the actors because some artist decided to steal all the food, I turn and there's poor little Garcia Lopez there getting a tea. He goes, "I just want a cup of tea." I go, "What do you want?" He's like, "Just a banana." I'm like, "Get out of here, Garcia." He's like, "Okay, man." I yelled at Jose.
Simon Legree, exactly, pulling out the cane. I'm going to make it even worse. He crippled Jose Garcia Luis,
and he didn't come. And he didn't come back.
And he never drew again. Thanks, Mitch. Boy, just to save on a goddamn banana. What the hell, man?
Cheap bastard.
All right. What else about the What else about the episode? Again, the collector. I liked how gross he was. Obviously, Kivas Faja reference. One of my favorite episodes, absolutely. Which, and forgive me because my Wokometer isn't on. Didn't it suddenly become problematic in some way, Wayne? Do you recall the most toys being some sort? I'm going to look it up to see if there is any kind of attitude now about the most toys up. Oh, I do remember. Forgive me. Because Canadian actor who played Kivas Faja.
Yeah. He's
wonderful actor. I got to look him up. Shame on me.
No, he was on one of those police shows for years.
Oh my God, he was one of the main stars of Warehouse 13.
Yeah. I can't think of his name though.
Hang on, we'll get it. You got to be kidding me! They got 6 pictures of who was in Warehouse 13. There he is, Saul Rubinek, everybody, who is awesome and truly one of my favorite character actors. Everything he does, I guess the fact that he is Jewish and this was a
Yeah.
collector that was greedy. I have heard mildly anti-Semitic, and I'm like,
Really?
yeah, that. Well,
I never
again,
heard that till just
hey,
now.
man,
I'm like, what happened?
I will even admit to hearing this in recent conversation, and I'm like, all right, I'm not Jewish. I guess again, I can't say, but I didn't read that.
I thought he was an alien because he had like the weird little nose,
well, but
thing, the
unfortunately,
earring thing, like a Bajoran.
I don't know, but anyway, sorry. Don't mean to be a downer, everybody.
Sorry.
But just another wrinkle to something that's acknowledged in this episode.
Yeah, I just want to know how a sex helmet works.
Yeah,
that was funny. That was funny.
The Kalis fornication helmet.
The guys at Den of Geek were wondering, does that mean clone Kalis or original Kalis? Because it could just be paraphernalia from current Kalis. The Emperor enjoys his concubines and likes to wear his sex helmet. Again, see, if you had paid a little more attention to those things rather than your bullshit A story, I think it would have been much more interesting.
Oh, speaking of A and B stories, what was that thrown out plot with the captain when she got a report written that said, "Oh, somebody's complaining that I micromanage everything. Who's that?" And they all looked around like, "Oh, I don't know who's doing it." So I was like, "Oh, is this another thread?" And then they never went back to that. So I'm like,
it could be a season.
Well, it probably refers back to the first episode where her husband says, "Hey, you might be up for promotion to a capital ship."
Oh, okay. Because I thought that was odd. I'm like, why are we talking about her being, reviewed by Starfleet or something? So.
Yeah, and again, that's great. Hey, that's the classic Paul Levitz, Denny O'Neil, DC writing story writing style. You've got your A plot, your B plot, but you're already feeding your C plot.
Maybe,
everything keeps moving up issue by issue and stuff, and that way.
We could predict it now. The big season finale. The mom leaves the ship, so Mariner won't have anybody to protect her.
New captain,
and a new captain comes up. Maybe it's
Mitch.
Captain Jeranik or
Jellicoe.
That'd be cool. Like
God,
a no nonsense, like Colonel Potter shows up.
Is Ronnie Cox still acting? I mean, you can get somebody else to play.
Yeah, no, he's still out there. He's on the circuit. You can get him.
Maybe they'll just get a Jellicle captain, and it'll be like Cats.
Mitch, please book Ronnie Cox because he could obviously talk Star Trek and he could talk that Matt Salinger.
He could talk RoboCop too.
Talk RoboCop.
He was Jones, whatever the
Beverly Hills Cop. I mean, God, Ronnie Cox has a million. I want to hear Apple's Way stories. His original sitcom from the early 70s, a very granola-esque show.
With Dick Van Patten's kid? Tim Apple's Way?
I believe Tim Van Patten.
Vince Van Patten was on it.
Or might have been Vince.
Vince, yeah. Dick's the dad. Yeah, Vince was the kid.
Oh, yeah, no. You're right about the dad. But, yeah, I couldn't remember if it was Tim or Vince. But, yeah.
He became a director.
Well, Vince Tim... Oh, yeah, you're right. Maybe both of them have. But you're right because one of them was directing Sopranos episodes. But, yeah. And, of course, one of them also, I believe Tim, was in The White Shadow with Ken Howard.
That's right. Tim was in White Shadow. Yes. I can't think of his name, but I remember it. Whatever. We do a White Shadow retro. Dick Jones. That was it. Dick Jones.
Yeah, there's we're coming through with the Ronnie Cox things. And of course, was he the president? Yes, he was Ned Beatty was his buddy.
Oh, in Captain America.
And the
shitty Captain America movie. That's right. Ronnie Cox.
Yeah. So anyway. So there you go. Food for thought. That's for
No, I honestly didn't think
2022 Zerficon.
Yeah. You know what's so funny? When you got a pile of shit, when something's not as shitty as the other one, suddenly it rises to the top. And I was like, compared to all 3 seasons so far, this was one of the better. There's only been 2 I ever really liked. And I go, this is tolerable because
you can grade on
like
the curve.
All the references, all the Easter eggs, whatever they did, all made sense in this episode because it was part of a collection. So I'm like, okay, now it's fine to have these instead of just throwing them out there because as soon as the show started and they said, "Oh, everybody's trying to get data." I go,
I was just going to say they referenced data, yeah.
And then it went into, I said, because this makes sense. These people collecting. And then they had those guys like, "You fix it broke." Those guys were at the mining colony.
Yeah,
I'm like, okay, this is okay.
I believe, and again, going back to last season, I think the Packlids is definitely going to be another 3
The Packlids, yeah.
And I am totally fine with that. I like angry Packlids. I like that they're still kind of talking stupid. Our ship won't go.
It broke. You fix.
So,
and then the other 2 got to do something too. They stood back and they broke out of that little cell. They made the fire.
Well, That's the great. Oh, but Mitch, that's the great lesson that we got was
to delegate.
And maybe other people have better ideas than we selfish assholes do.
Imagine if they've set this up for Mariner to become the captain of the ship.
Oh, God, honestly, truly, if that happened, then I'd like her to go up against Discovery and watch Berman and Mariner annihilate each other.
I think the lesson should be to put those two front and center of these episodes, Rutherford and Tendi.
Yeah, they're not so annoying.
I like, again, I mean, I thought one of Tendy's first scenes when she's in sickbay and she's pumping the alien heart and the crew members' eyes are bulging every time. That's funny. And Rutherford, again, God, when Rutherford was with the security guy that died and they all loved him and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, thanks, guys. It's like, no, I like them better. I like everybody better than what these idiots think. Well, no, these are the main stars.
Yeah. Even the parrot doctor was funny when he comes in. He sees the puppet. She's got a note on his like, "Do not touch this puppet." He's like, "Oh, I could use this for my shadow." But doesn't anybody read? It's like, don't touch the stupid puppet. So
putting it in Rick and Morty terms, it's like loving Jerry and Summer more than Rick and Morty. And I do like Jerry and Summer as accent characters, but yeah, it's again, I don't get this show. I don't agree.
Get this show.
Well, I don't agree with. Don't you see? This is funny, and it's like, no, not really, not at all, actually. Anyway, let's if we may, just for a bit, what if, and Black Panther being Star-Lord.
What if the show was good?
Exactly. What if Lower really? This is the portion of the show called "What If Lower Decks Was Actually Good," like What If is.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
I loved What If.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. 4 stars easily. I had forgotten that Chadwick Boseman, did this before he passed away.
Mm-hmm.
So it was awesome to get like one more victory lap for Chadwick Boseman being the Panther. That's great. It was so good.
Yeah, I loved all the versions of these characters, these What If characters. I love that, this alternate timeline. I thought the story was great. I thought there were surprises in it. I saw Josh Brolin's name, so it was kind of spoiled for me that I knew he was going to show up. So I got to remember not to read the credits and then go back and watch them later. But the way he showed up and how he showed up, I thought was great. That they kept making reference to all that stuff.
And it was simple. It's just
yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah, it was like.
I thought it was just really, really well done, and like when we talked about the first episode, I just thought they were good. There's no comparison between these two.
Yeah,
no, there's not. No.
Well, and they give us Easter eggs as well. They're more subtle, but they absolutely or are they more obvious? But they give you a moment rather than a flash, the way Lower Decks does.
Yeah.
And you have these, great interpretation of Thanos, great interpretation of Nebula.
Mm-hmm.
I kept waiting for
I loved Howard the Duck.
Howard the Duck showed up. I was like,
I loved Howard the Duck. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I was telling Ordway and I talked about this on our podcast yesterday, and I said, what's the difference between Lower Decks and What If? He goes, because Disney's got such a brand, it's got to be top quality. They're not going to put some half-ass shit where Paramount will slap a Star Trek logo on any show, obviously, Discovery, Enterprise, Lower Decks, whatever, Prodigy, and they're just trying to milk as much as they can get out of it, where Marvel's like, no. We're going to wait. We're going to do it right. The animation's top quality. The voice actors are quality. The story writing's good. They're not going to half-ass this thing,
Mitch wins the Communicator Award this week. He on the head, dude. That's
I like
and
how
Paramount doesn't care.
No, they're cheap. And it's funny.
They are cheap. Yeah.
If you saw what Dante just flashed, the 2 voice casts for the last 2 episodes, Kurt Russell, Benicio del Toro, a lot of star power on the show. Yeah. And like you said, I remember with Discovery, they made advances to Michael Doran, and it wasn't enough money in his opinion. He's like, the money they're offering me is insulting.
Really?
Like, yeah. Because you're Michael Doran, you're one of the Trek icons, and don't again. I mean, like, the Shatner Enterprise story, it's in the 50-year mission if people haven't read it.
Yeah.
And Shatner can be difficult, and I get that. It's still Shatner. And again, it's, whatever your budget will allow. But you're right. I mean, and also, it's weird because again, Discovery spending a shit ton of money on the wrong things. But back to, I mean, animation is its own thing, and God only knows. Like, I'm sure they're giving them less of a budget for lower, definitely, regardless, because it's animation. But maybe even more cost cutting because of the amount of money they spend on Discovery. I don't know.
What was Michael Dorn being asked? Just do a cameo or for like a series?
No, I think they wanted a guest role for him.
Just for a guest appearance, they couldn't pay him. That's it.
That's
really?
What, as I understood the story years ago, that he's like, for that money, no, that's all right. You know, and again, I mean, look where they, and that's why I love Frakes. And again, and also Frakes is getting his, Directors Guild hours to justify his medical insurance as he's getting older and stuff, and it's fun. And he gets, I mean, the way Discovery is shot, especially when it is a Frakes episode, I got no complaints. It's all on the technical side; they get A's. Yep. It's the story and the acting that
they
to me
spent a lot of money on the AR wall. That's what I heard from the Discovery people. Is their new AR wall is amazing,
and that's like backstage stagecraft, the Industrial Light and Magic technology they're using on Mandalorian, for example.
They're now using it on Discovery.
The thing, whatever it's called.
It's like a giant television screen that they could project, scenery like a matte painting, but in this case, it's an 3D digital audio or video image.
Well,
that's cool.
What If Ordway just talked to me today. He didn't like the latest What If. He thought it was kind of dull and boring. I'm like, really? It took me a bit to get into it because the first episode was like a mirror of the first Avenger, so I didn't like it that much. I'm like, because the What If comic always had a good premise, but they went on their own direction. They didn't just like repeat the original story, where the second episode just like a whole new premise and let's see what happens. And the ending, it's so dark at the very end of it. It was like a Twilight Zone, like an Outer Limits, because there was always a more darker. And then you see Ego show up at the Dairy Queen, and there's Peter Quill mopping the floor with the headphones on, and then they do the little voiceover like the Planet of the Apes. It's like a little world named Earth doesn't exist anymore. And then he goes, and too bad the whole universe is about to end. And I'm like, holy shit, everyone's having a party, like, yay, look, T'Challa's Star-Lord. And meanwhile, in Earth,
the world is coming.
Ego is about to fucking wipe out everything because there's nobody to stop him because they didn't do it. I'm like,
I wonder if they would follow that storyline because I mean that's a great kind of cosmic event that would require all the heroes to get together.
Yes, I can't believe Disney would let it go that way. Like, oh, by the way, kiddies, everyone just died.
Well, there's that amazing What If issue from the original comic series that I always loved about what if Korvac had won in his adventure story. And that ends with him becoming one with the universe. Yeah. And he can't handle anymore, and he uses the ultimate nullifier, and it ends with, and suddenly everything went white. And it's this outline of Korvac that's up against a totally white comic book page. That disturbed the shit out of me at 12 years old. I'm like, wow. I mean, I knew it was fiction, but I'm like, no, I wasn't expecting that.
A lot of the good what ifs, everyone died. Like Avengers, like what if Tony Stark was all the Avengers, like issue 3 by Jim Shooter, and he dies at the end, and all the other Avengers weren't there to help him because he made all these robot suits. Yeah.
No, that's a good one.
Let's go evil with this.
Well, that's funny. Dante says he's dying to see how they do the Marvel Zombies episode.
That's going to be good too.
Yeah, it'll be fun. No, it's going to be fun.
See, we're looking forward to this show. Yet Lower Decks is on, and we're like, fuck that show.
Well, again, I stand by my 2.5. I see really good things. I wish they weren't so in love with their jokes and what they think should be story, because I think they're missing on what actually does work. And all I can say is the 2.5 stars are in spite of itself, and I would rather watch a Titan cartoon.
Wouldn't it be cool if there was other Lower Deck people? Like, it's just not those 4. Like there's a whole
that's
crew.
That's
but it's like a whole bunch of schleppy people that like. There's the guy that cleans out the turbo lift or the holodeck mopper.
I think they're doing a decent job of introducing other characters.
Yeah,
and showing us it is a big ship with a bunch of little ones. In fact, the bird psychologist came back.
Yep,
Paul F. Tompkins' character, and I mean, and they've had others that were one-offs from last year. that they brought back in some.
I like the thought that there's 4 other crew members just on the other side in the next bunk that their stories are much better and funnier than these guys.
It's like the other crew on MASH, the other people you didn't see. Like, wait, where's the rest of the camp? I bet there's some stories over there.
So Wayne, you're back from the Star Trek convention. We got to get a report.
Okay.
Tell us everything.
Well, like I said earlier, the Discovery people really love the new AR wall. One of them, I forget which one, said they almost like walk through the door. It looks so real.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't say too much of what was going on or what was going to happen, but they said it's going to be pretty explosive this season.
Who was there from the cast?
David Ajala.
Is that Booker?
Tilly.
That's a doctor?
Is that Booker? Or is
no, that's Booker. Booker was there. Tilly was there.
Oh, Tilly. Oh, Tilly.
Was
the guy who plays
Berman,
Linus?
was Burnham there?
No, she wasn't there. Burnham wasn't there. Doug Jones wasn't there.
No,
okay.
Wilson
the guy
Cruz
you said who
wasn't
played
there.
Elias? Who's that?
The actor who plays Linus. That's the alien that sneezed on Burnham.
Oh yeah, with the alien head.
Yeah,
because we don't know what he
he's
normally
hoping
looks
to get
like,
more
so of course
lines.
he's there. Yeah, that's great. Exactly. Jesus. And again,
And that was
COVID.
improvised too. He said that was improvised, that sneeze.
His
that's
best
funny.
scene in the whole show.
Yeah, really. Okay, what panels did you go to? You obviously
the one that really sticks in my mind is the Axanar panel.
Now that fascinates me. Hold on a minute, because obviously, as we all know, Prelude to Axanar is this great fan film, but it also caused a lot of controversy because they wanted to make a full-length movie, and the powers that be at Paramount and CBS are like, oh no. And that's when all of a sudden, after 50 years, they imposed the regulations on fan films. And fan films cannot be more than 30 minutes in total. You can do 2 15-minute segments, but you can't accumulate more than 30 minutes. And they were each suing each other. Axanar was countersuing Paramount and CBS. CBS was obviously suing from a copyright infringement, and it was settled out of court. Alec Peters continues to be a very controversial figure, and frankly, I don't like how he's treated a couple of my friends that are Word Balloon regulars. And I'll even name them: Paul Jenkins and Robert Meyer Burnett and Christian Gossett. I love all those guys, and I think they're incredibly talented guys. Christian directed Prelude to Axanar. Rob edited it. He also made new footage, which was intended to be in the next film. And Alec Peters is kind of a jerk to all 3 of these guys and continues to be. So I got a real problem with Axanar, I have to be honest, after really loving Prelude to Axanar. All that said, and no judgment, Wayne, because, again, I think Prelude to Axanar remains
it'd be an amazing
one of the
movie,
best,
if not a miniseries.
One of the best fan films ever made, I think, and movie studio quality. And as you and I were chatting yesterday, Wayne, it's a shame because it would have been great to see them make a full-length movie. But go ahead.
Yeah, because it was the first Klingon war. It was literally an arms race between the Federation and the Klingons to see who would get out their heavy cruisers first. The building of the Constitution class versus the D7 battle cruisers, and it wouldn't have been an amazing movie. Alex said that he would have even given the rights up, everything up to Paramount if they could just film the movie. And they said no.
Yeah.
And if you watch Prelude to Axanar, it's a better story than Discovery.
Yes.
Like if you want a prequel to Star Trek, the original Star Trek, Prelude to Axanar is what you should be watching.
Well, yeah, and it's following Captain Garth, who we see in the third season as the crazy guy, Lord Garth. Yeah, this is exactly when Kirk is talking to him in that episode and saying, we studied you at the Academy. You were our example. And in a moment of clarity, Garth is like, well, it was a heavy responsibility. And Kirk's like, and you bore it greatly, sir. And it really is like, please remember who you are. You are so important to us. And there's that even great moment at the end of the episode where he might actually be recovered. And again, the possibilities if they would have gone on Did he go back into Starfleet? Did he, could he regain his glory? I mean, you really believed in this character. And I'll give Alec a lot of credit because he plays Garth and he plays him very capably. And truly, I think did a great job. Richard Hatch is the main Klingon.
Wow.
The great admiral that leads the charge.
Tony Todd.
Starfleet.
Tony Todd's in it?
Yeah,
Wow.
when Starfleet has to go from science to, all right, it's wartime, he plays the admiral and would have been amazing. I forget her name, the woman from Battlestar Galactica who played Colonel Ty's wife. She's a captain in it. J.G. Hertzler, who we all love, Martok, is a Federation captain, humanoid. And it's Val, the Vulcan ambassador, who is now, it's years after Enterprise and has more trust in Earth and is kind of more pro-Federation than, and Vulcan is appalled that they're going to go to war, the Federation, and they want to break off. I mean, it's a great
because literally
story.
like what we see in Discovery now with the Federation constricting, being smaller.
Oh, the future one.
With the future contracting, that's what happened in Axanar, where the Federation was just getting eliminated by the Klingons.
Johnny, I've said this to you before. I just don't know how they do this and get away with it.
Yeah, I was going to say.
And with all these actors, whoever's doing Axanar guy.
Well, that's the point, Francis. That.
Well, no, I understand that, but even leading up to it for years, they had all these other movies. Why did they let them get away with this? Why are they letting them doing this?
It's free publicity. It's especially when the franchise was dormant and in those pre-Next Generation years, but even subsequent to that, all it is a Valentine of we love this thing, and most are made. Actually, all of them are made. Nobody made money. Well, Axanar did make money. That's the problem.
And that's what caused. And that's what
they
caused,
made like $2 million on their GoFundMe.
Oh,
that was the line in the sand for all fan films. After that, Axanar was the one that was it. Everybody was put on notice,
right? And because James Cawley's season 4 various fan film episodes. To me, it's like watching college kids do live theater, where no, it's not Broadway, but they are capable enough that I think they're entertaining stories. I'm a big fan of James Cawley's films. Vic Mignaraga, or however the hell you say his name, he has obviously gotten in deep hot water. I didn't know that while I was enjoying his Star Trek Continue series, but he made 11 successful hours of Trek stories as well. I'm glad these things exist. I'm really, and again, these were all before the new rules were imposed. So no, I mean, I understand. And honestly, Franco, I think these people just thought it would be fun to do. Maybe I don't know.
Maybe Paramount doesn't want them to do it because, God forbid, they do a real good story. Then they go, "Oh, we got to pay somebody because it's more popular."
Or our big budget $100 million movie can't compare to this
a fan movie.
To a fan movie with
it's
a good
embarrassing,
story.
really. Yeah.
Have you
think of Troopers, the Star Wars?
Troopers
was amazing.
Right. Exactly. Wayne, have you ever seen Tim Russ's Star Trek fan movie that he made?
Oh, wow.
Renegades. Star Trek Renegades is the name of it, Mitch and Franco, if you ever want to watch it. And that also, Walter Koenig is in it. It's hilarious. Everyone is in it or the various people that they have in it that are former Star Trek actors. They never name their characters, but it's painfully obvious. Like the kid who played Ichip, Manu, whatever the hell his name is. Yeah. He's in it. Tim Russ is in it.
See, I don't understand how they get away with doing the movies. That was the first thing, and then I don't understand how they get the actors that were actually in Star Trek to be in these and not get in trouble or not. Yeah,
is Walter Koenig speaking with a Russian accent?
A little bit.
Okay, so it's Chekhov without saying.
Yeah, and he's referred to as the Admiral. So maybe this is far in the future. Richard Hurd, Tom Paris's dad, Admiral Paris. Also in the movie, a colleague of Walter Koenig's, and they're talking back.
See, I'm with Franco.
They might even call him Pavel.
I would think that they would, just like a comic book artist, like Ordway's not going to go out tomorrow and write his own Superman story and draw it and then try to publish it because he knows the lawyers would be on the phone in 10 minutes and sue his ass off. I don't know why these actors would risk their career. I know they're not working all the time, but there might be a backlash like, hey, you're going to all these conventions with all those photographs of our property. fuck you. You want from now on, you got to
again,
pay us
I don't
for
know,
all that shit.
I don't know how Tim Russ.
I'm just saying.
I don't know what his motivations ever were. Have you ever heard it, Wayne? At any
No,
times, have people
I think
said
they just wanted to do it, just like they want to do a Captain Worf at some
Oh, really?
point.
Yeah.
Oh, who wants to? Does Axonar want to do it?
Oh, Michael Dorn wants
Oh,
to do
yeah.
a
God,
Captain
yeah.
Worf.
Well, I thought
And he'd
I
love to
heard
do
that-
one, even if it's a fan film.
I thought I had heard that was actually being considered in development with CBS and Paramount. Captain Worf finally. Maybe
Was
not.
this
I don't know.
convention? Was this sanctioned by Paramount? Was this like an official Star
It's the
Trek
creation convention.
But yeah,
Okay.
but they
have a
work through-
license?
Yeah, CPS is there.
Oh yeah.
Oh, but see, yet they're letting a panel go on about this thing that they've had lawsuits with.
Oh,
and
the
no one
Axonar,
says
because it
anything.
was settled.
There you go. And they are moving forward following the
They're
rules.
moving
of the
forward
new
with
fan
two
rules.
15-minute episodes,
Yeah.
and what they're able to do, because they're not precluded from doing it, they're doing a full audio drama of the whole movie. Like the movie they want to do is
They'll
going to
make
be
an
an audio drama.
Yeah,
That's going
you
to be
see,
really
I
great.
mean,
But that's for
what-
free, though, right? You can't
Of course,
charge
yeah.
for it.
No.
Yeah.
See, my issue is, again, they seem to be skirting the issue around the edges and doing an audio thing, a full audio drama, because that's not, no one said
No, but
specifically you can't do that. But on the opposite side of things, if Paramount were smart and they say, wow, look how much this generated, look at, why don't we throw them some money
Yeah.
and they can reap the benefits, but I don't know. I don't understand. I'm an idiot.
Because
No,
they're not smart.
that's a legitimate point. The other thing is, I do know this was the case with Alec Peters and those guys. The intent was to show what they could do for free as kind of a proof of their own abilities from a production standpoint.
Proof of concept.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and a concept, but I guess as opposed to the story they're telling being the concept, the idea that they can execute a competent science fiction production to make on their own. I mean, that was the case. That's what they said they were going to do with the money they were getting from their GoFundMe's and their Kickstarters for the Axonar project, was to build this studio in Atlanta and a soundstage and make other things that were original ideas. Go ahead, Mitch.
No, I was going to say something must have happened, because I remember I even have my spec script that I found from Star Trek that I wrote back in like the early 90s. And they took it. There was a period of time where Paramount was taking unsolicited scripts from fans, and Chris Carter was doing it on X-Files, because I wrote X-Files. They were taking spec scripts. And then all that shut down like right around 2000. Like Trek wouldn't do it anymore.
Yeah.
X-Files wouldn't do it anymore. Something went down. And
tell you
maybe it's
what's down.
because of all the DVDs and all this new stuff started coming around.
No,
but there was
you know what
no
happened?
more unsolicited material from fans, and you had to go through a whole process. And good luck trying to get into that lottery, think that you could just walk off a street with a story and get it printed or published on TV or something.
It was the Matrix. It was the Matrix lawsuits.
What happened with that?
Because these unpublished scripts.
Yeah.
Suddenly it was like, hey, Wachowskis, you stole my idea.
Oh, is that true?
And all the open submission people are suddenly like, we are leaving ourselves open for a great liability. Hell, look at what happened with Discovery and that video game from the 90s that involves tardigrades and time travel. They have a great case, and I have no idea how CBS and Paramount didn't get fucked over from that. But those guys have a much better case. Female protagonists using tardigrades to time travel, and it's like, gee, that sure as hell sounds like that first season of Discovery.
Is that a lawsuit right now?
No, there was an old lawsuit that the judge deemed no. They voted in favor of Paramount and CBS, and it's like, I don't know, that judge. I have no idea what they were looking at. That's obviously an out of touch person. That really, that's where they luck out. They'll get a judiciary who's not or a judicial who's not savvy to the tech world and then all the various geek storytelling that's going on.
Yeah,
I don't know. But regardless, no, that's interesting. Any autograph? Did you get any photos? Did you what did you do?
For the photo ops, they had this very thin piece of plexiglass about this thick between you and the star. So it was a very thin piece of plexiglass that you could not see that if you had a picture, it would cast a shadow like this on your face.
Yeah. Did you go up to it and go, I have been and always shall be your friend?
No, but
Exactly.
a lot of photos that I saw of people that I hang around with,
Yeah.
it was a lot of this.
They were all doing
on the
that. Yeah.
plexiglass.
Of course.
No one pushed the nipple up to the glass like Will Ferrell did in one of
That's
those
terrible.
movies, like when he was in
No.
prison.
But Kelsey Grammer.
Why
said
was
if
he
you were
there?
full- Yeah, he was.
Why do you think he was there, Mitch? No, I'm gonna
No.
make Mitch think of this.
Be freaking the Trek thing. He must be pushing a new line of alcohol. Because my buddy just had a photo shoot with him a week ago at a bar, and he was making drinks. He was pushing some
Was it
beer
gin?
that he had, or gin. Yeah. He
was
wasn't
gin.
there because he was Captain Bozeman
Well, he's
from
doing
whatever.
both.
Yeah, he was there
He's
because
doing
of Captain
both.
Bozeman.
Yeah, but I
Of
bet he
course
was
he was.
pushing his booze.
Yeah, but that's fine. They all do that, Mitch.
Yeah.
They all do.
He was
that.
doing a Frasier panel, I think.
Exactly.
Yeah,
It's like,
basically, yeah. His panel was Frasier. A lot of Frasier talk.
Yeah, well, okay.
I have
Um,
no doubt. Well, of course it would be. I mean,
But
he's only
everyone
on
else
screen
had
for,
their
for 2
plexiglass.
minutes as Captain Bozeman. So it was like this.
There it is.
It was a
basically,
glass,
right?
yeah. And when you went up for autographs, they had the sheet of plexiglass too, with this little cutout. So it's almost like when you go up to a bank teller,
Yeah.
Yeah,
you
the
can slide
DMV. Yes.
your photos in and out. It's hilarious.
You needed that
Thank
little
you.
drawer at the drive-through where you just drop
Exactly.
the pen in and
Like
you pull
right,
it back.
Frank was
Yeah.
doing exactly. Like
Um,
other prisoners have conjugal
Yeah,
visits
yeah,
while
yeah,
it's
yeah.
Visitors Day.
That's
They
fine.
gotta
I
suck
butcher
from
her
the
name,
plexiglass.
but she's the Iranian actress on The Expanse, where she
Oh,
played
sure.
she
Yeah,
played
she's
the admiral of the Starbase in
Beyond in the third
Beyond?
movie. Yeah.
Now her story was Beyond was fully, and she says this is Hollywood. Everyone knows when everything's finished.
Hmm.
So she then gets a call after the movie is finished because they wanted a strong female character to be in charge.
of the Expanse.
She said, "Okay, cool, I'll do it," because she's a huge Star Trek fan from when she was a kid back in Iran, and
So
it
you're
was
saying-
translated
pardon me.
into Farsi.
So, that's awesome that it was translated in Farsi. So you're saying she got the Expanse gig because of Star Trek Beyond?
No, she didn't get
Other
the
way around.
Expanse gig. It's only I can't pronounce her name properly, so I don't want to butcher it. It's just I remember her more from The Expanse than I do from Beyond.
Okay, but again, you said she got one job because she had
Oh yeah,
done the other
no, she got the job on Star Trek Beyond
because of the
because
Expanse.
they wanted a strong female character because Beyond had already finished filming. It was done in the can.
Oh,
JJ wanted to say, "Hey, we need a strong female character." Then they contacted her
I'm with you now.
to be
Okay.
in Beyond.
I got you now. Okay.
So this was
Oh.
after it. And then when she
That's
got
cool.
the role for Beyond, she called her brothers. Her brothers were ecstatic.
Oh, I'm
What,
sure.
you're in Star Trek? Yay!
Yeah, absolutely. Good. My buddy Julianne Emery, who was in season 6 of Bosch and also first season of Better Call Saul and was in the first season of Fargo. She did Catch 22 with George Clooney and stuff. For years, she would audition for Enterprise and not get it and come close, and it bummed her out because she's such a massive Star Trek fan. So that's still her dream. In fact, I should see if she's, because she's kicking ass. She at this point, Star Trek could do much good by getting her rather than her getting the gig.
Mhm.
But I know, I mean, she's just a lifelong Star Trek fan. In fact, showing the Spock scene, Tony Fleece used to draw these great parodies of classic sci-fi, and it was remember those Love Is comic strips,
Mhm.
the one panel,
Yeah, little
of
naked
the
kids.
two
Yeah.
naked cherubs like hugging each other. So his stuff was A Friend Is, and it's Kirk carrying Spock's dead body after the plexiglass scene, and I went to a New York dinner party during New York Comic Con. Had gotten that for free from Tony. Had it in a big plastic covering thing to protect it. I knock on the door to go to this dinner party. She answers the door and she's like, first time I ever met her, and she's like, "Oh my God, that's the saddest scene in Star Trek ever." And I'm like, "Hi, I'm John. Nice to meet you." This beautiful woman is like, "I love Star Trek," and it's like, I think I'll be talking to you for most of the evening. Nice to meet you and stuff. She's married.
Yeah,
Don't get
and
me wrong, but
Oded
she's
Fur, who plays Admiral Vance in Discovery, he's also a huge Star Trek fan. Like he said he couldn't wait, and he hasn't done it yet, to get onto the bridge of the Discovery, because that's what they
Oh,
want
wow.
to do. Is they want to get on the bridge and start playing with the buttons.
Well, of course.
That's the guy from the Mummy movies?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he,
He's
again, best thing about Star Trek Discovery Season 3. Why? Because he's Starfleet. Because
no.
real
Because he
Starfleet.
eats shit, remember?
No.
What?
For the replicator, we eat shit. Remember when he was sitting there?
Yeah, that's gross, but all right,
yeah.
fine.
I always remember that classy.
That's like that. That's like that one alternate Rick from Rick and Morty.
Yeah.
They're like, he's from the planet where they eat their own poop.
Poop eaters.
Doofus Rick.
Yes, Doofus Rick, exactly.
No. The best new character on Discovery is the cat. Now, here's the secret about that cat.
No, it's not. But go ahead.
The cat is not female. The cat is played by two twin cats that are male. So we have a gender-bending cat. So we have a male cat appropriating a female role.
I believe the cats would prefer to be referred to as they.
Yeah, I love that
that's
you.
just me teasing kids. Please don't get angry at me.
I love that you go to a completely different country to go to this 4-day convention, and the biggest news out of it is that the cat from Discovery is actually a boy.
That was my question to David. That was my question to Booker. I wanted to know more about the cat, and he said, "I'll tell you about the cat." And there's two cats. One of them's nice, and one of them isn't. And he says, "You hope that you're not on the set with the one that isn't." Because it's a miserable cat.
He must have read the scripts. That's why he's like upset.
No good retro.
He knows he's in the production. He's like, oh, fuck
this show. Yeah.
No, not really any retro.
And I would imagine at this point you've heard all the old stories.
Yeah, the stories have been recycled.
How was Spiner? Was he pushing Picard?
Canceled.
Oh, really? Oh, that's
the only person from Next Generation that showed up was Denise Crosby.
Oh, okay. I like Denise Crosby.
Because everyone else was sick.
Oh, really? Like the MegaCon thing.
Well, or again, they don't want to take. Hey, man, you know, I understand. You don't want to take the risk, and especially when you're in the Southwest and you got a bunch of mouth breathers around you that I don't need to be vaccinated.
Speaking from
was everyone masked, or did everyone? Wait, hold on, Mitch. Did everyone have to be masked?
Yes.
Okay, that's all. Go on, Mitch.
I was just gonna say, you're saying that, and all you, me, and Franco were just at my show 2.5 weeks ago, or 3 weeks ago now.
But again, Mitch,
we were fine. We had one of the highest vaccinated places in the country.
Well, and that's why I felt
honestly, I didn't come within 50 feet of you the entire.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. You were sleeping
and also, I still, God, you know, as you guys know, I mean, I was telling Wayne, I mean, I had Con Crud on Sunday, and and I was scared. I was really scared that I'm like, oh shit, I got it. And thank God it was just regular Con Crud, and I'm fine. So I don't know.
I do have a story. I went around. I got in a few days early just to do a little bit of shopping.
Mm-hmm.
So I bounced around between stores. I picked up a hockey jersey for my sister-in-law because she's a big Mark Stone fan.
Cool.
And I went into the Target of all places, and I was looking around, and then I saw some pops. So
I have that. I bought that today.
I picked up some Gorn pops, but I also got Bobby Clark to sign them.
You son of a bitch.
Now, even better, when I was at the Target store, I needed 5 pops for people. Yeah. One for myself, one for my friend Tom, and then there's 3 other people I'm thinking of that might like a signed pop.
Great. So Canadians get stuff. That's awesome.
So I got one for John, one for Mitch, and one for Franco.
Now I can take back the one I bought that's not signed.
Wow. Yeah, so that's awesome.
So I have some signed pops. Now, what was even better was usually they have them, and I got little plastic protective sleeves to make sure I don't smack them around.
No.
But I didn't have them signed on the plastic because I thought, it might fade over time. So I had these green metallic pens. So I had him sign the top. But as he was signing it, he was going,
Did he make the
Gorn sound?
Did he make the Gorn noise?
Are you sure you want me to sign them on the top? Because, I usually sign here. No. I prefer you to sign them on the top, Mr. Clark. Are you?
Yeah.
Okay. And then that was 1. 2. Are you really sure you want me to sign them on the top? Yes, sir. I prefer you to sign them on the top. So he is a bit arthritic.
Yeah. Oh,
when
great.
He's signing, but I do have 3 pops for you guys that I'll get down to you at some point.
So
Signed by
It's
Mr.
Just
Bobby
make a
Clark.
cannon
It's
out
Bobby
of
Clark, yeah.
a piece of coal and then shoot it right into his face.
So Bobby Clark is now crippled
With the Sharpie.
with his hand because
Yeah, I was just
Wayne
walking
refused,
into the
and, no,
Target.
You have
You
to
killed
sign
him.
this way. Oh,
Yeah, you just walk in the Target. I was bouncing around between comic shops in Las Vegas,
Yeah.
and I said, "Hey, only a Target, a Gorn, cool."
Yeah.
And I need 5 of them.
Dante says the way to get them signed is you get them signed the window with
Yeah.
a pen.
Yeah.
Fine.
I didn't have a paint pen.
A, exactly, and B, I'm with Wayne on this. I want it on paper,
Right.
where it has a chance to last. I don't trust any sort of plastic.
No.
It's gonna,
No.
it's
They
gonna
scrape
degrade.
off. No.
Yeah,
I'm looking at a
sorry.
whole wall of autographed pops from my show, and the paint ones, they chip a bit. And I'm like, oh, well, that's
There you go. Exactly, man. So respectfully, no. You
Yeah.
disagree,
So I
sir.
did pick up some Gorns for you guys
Yay.
That's
because I
awesome.
thought you might like them.
That's
They're awesome.
fantastic.
Thank you,
That
sir.
will look very
Thank
nice
you,
next
Wayne.
to my only other pop, and that's a Dr. Zayas
Let's
pop.
see what else.
You had a Dr.
Wendy
Zayas
Freeman got from me.
They made Planet of the Apes one?
yeah.
Yep.
Jeff Billingsley, who played Dr. Phlox
Yes.
in Enterprise.
John
Yes,
Billingsley.
John Billingsley. Yeah.
John Billingsley. He was telling us in a
Love him.
sort of a panel. He was going, I really would have loved how if they could have explored Phlox's. No, sorry, it wasn't Phlox.
Yeah, he was. He was Fox.
Fox.
No. It was the actor who played Garrett.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, in DS9.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. The guy,
Yeah, Garrett,
he was in Dirty Harry, that guy.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go on. I see
Andrew
him in my head.
Robinson.
Andrew
Yes,
Robinson.
Andrew Robinson. Indeed.
Yeah, because he was saying he would have loved to have seen what Ira could have done with his character because they never really presented his sexuality.
Right.
But like he said, I would have loved to have seen how far we could have gone with him during DS9.
Yeah, they say, and I don't know if it was Andrew Robinson's subtext himself or if it was the producer's intent, but there was somebody who's like, no, Garrick loves Julian Bashir.
Yeah. I always
He's in
felt
love
that
with
way.
just Ira
I
did
never
not
got
want
that.
to.
I
no,
always
I
thought
did.
that he was toying with him
No.
in a like kidding older brother sort of, or you have no idea how the universe works.
No, towards the last season, you could tell because he went to. There was one episode where he saved him.
where
I
he
can't
did the
remember.
reach around.
Yeah.
He-
Now, well, the other was that too, but they got
Doctor.
drunk on some Romulan ale, and what happens on the promenade stays on the
I
promenade.
think those Kardashians had that neck, and they'd make great holding on.
With that little
love
spoon
handles.
area.
Yeah, love handles. That's
That
very
loving-
good. By the way, that's the name of my slash porn of Garrick and Bashir. It's called Cardassian Love Handle.
The loving
Yeah.
spoonful
So
right there.
look for that coming in paperback. This
The actor that played Gul Dukat.
love him,
had an
Mark
accident.
Alamo. Mark Alamo,
Yeah,
I love
yes,
that
yeah.
guy.
He had
He's
an
amazing.
accident. I think it was closer to the end of the filming of the series.
Oh no.
And because they had to rush him to the hospital, they rushed him in full makeup
I
Oh
remember this
shit.
story. Yeah.
as a as a Cardassian.
Gul Dukat. Can you imagine a lizard showing up?
They were like,
Yeah.
oh shit.
Hey, we just came from Area 51. We need you to work
Pretty
on
much.
this.
Is that why the fight between him and Cisco is kind of like not as elaborate as I wanted it to be? They were just
Yeah,
tumbling through a
it was
blue
the last
screen.
episode.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was
they
like, what
had
the
a
fuck?
problem
After
with
all
it,
this,
and
that's
they had
it?
to ship him to the hospital.
But
Oh.
did you guys, because I've never seen it really explored in any analysis of that last episode of What You Leave Behind, how much it mirrors the fight scene between Gary and Kirk in Where No Man Has Gone Before, because Dukat, when he's got the power Wraith power, is forcing Cisco down and forcing him to pray, just
Yeah,
just like Gary did to Kirk and everything. And
you think that was intentional?
I do.
Oh, I never put that together till now.
I mean,
And when
again,
they put
I
his
saw it,
name-
that was
His name was on the headstone and it had the wrong middle initial. too.
Well, again, it wasn't wrong at the time. That was first. They changed it later. James R. Kirk.
It was James R. Kirk?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, no, I'm saying kind of like that Spock smiles in the cage.
Yeah.
They just
didn't know
gave him
yet.
a middle
Yeah.
initial, and then
Yeah.
later it became Tiberius.
Yes.
So James R. Kirk. That shows you that Where No Man Has Gone Before is happening in an alternate. It might even be in the Kelvin universe.
You know what's so sad? I actually watched 2 original Trek episodes last night because after I watched Lower Decks, I was like, why did I like this show? And then I watched yesterday's Tomorrow is Yesterday
Love
when they
that
get
one.
the pilot. That was a
Captain
good one.
Christopher. Yes.
Yeah, Captain Christopher. And then after that was the trial with Kirk when he sent Finney. He opened the bay
Court-martial.
doors or something.
Yeah,
and
court-martial,
Elijah
where-
Cook did it as the attorney with the
Defense attorney,
books.
Yeah. Oh, I love that guy. Yeah.
And I was like, oh wow, this is why I like this show because it was kind of
Classic.
cool.
Two of the best. Absolutely, two of the best.
Back to back.
And I was gonna say Captain Christopher. I forget the actor's name.
Yeah, he was on something else though, like what, Emergency or something?
Maybe. I mean, he did a ton of like guest shots all over the place. But his real life wife was Laughlin's own Joanne Worley.
Oh no shit! Really?
They were on Tattletales together. Either that or they were a couple much like Dick Sargent and Fanny Flagg were, and they were two gay people. But I believe they were married. I'm reasonably certain.
That's so funny because he looked familiar. I'm watching it going, where's this guy from? I don't know where, but he just had that.
Well, he looks like he would have been, if it were 300 years later, he easily would have been a Federation officer and stuff. That's why I love that episode.
It was earlier on because Shatner actually did his own stunt work in that fight scene because usually you could always tell when they cut to another guy who's like a foot taller than Kirk and it doesn't look anything like him. But when they were having a fight in the Air Force base, it was actually Shatner taking the tumbles and jumping up on the door and kicking the guy in the chest. I was like, oh, look at Shatner getting a little
John Christopher and his son, of course, was one of the founding members of the Martian colony.
Saturn, I think it was. They announced it. They did a probe or something like that.
I'm looking right there. It is Saturn. Very good, Mitch. Well done.
I just watched it last night, John. It's not
That's
like
right. Well, yeah, but I'm looking at Memory Alpha, so you'll forgive me. But I'm laughing.
This is the Alpha 5.
Exactly.
I'm going through all the episodes too to watch which one. I'm like, I haven't seen that one in a long time. But then I love the little descriptions that they write on Netflix because it's funny. Some of them don't really do the show justice. It's like Kirk and Sulu bump into a bunch of religious cultists on a planet. I'm like, is that the one where I've heard was it Landu? Or have you heard of Landu? And they're all in the pilgrim outfits.
Yeah.
Or
that's first season. Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe that's Savage Time. I could be wrong. Roger Perry, by the way, Captain Christopher. And yes, for 25 years
he was
married
Mr.
to Joanne Worley. And he died in 2018.
Oh.
Bummer.
Alex Cord just died last week. The guy that was the on Airwolf. He had the mustache and the patch,
but also a Gene Roddenberry connection with Alex Cord.
Who? Where was he on?
Wasn't he in the? There's the two post Star Trek backdoor pilots.
Spectre?
No, not Spectre. John Saxon played the character in one version of it, and it was like hundreds of years later, post-apocalyptic Earth.
Like Earth 2.
It was, and so there's the John Saxon one, and I believe it's the Alex Gordon did the other version.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I'm going to look it up to make sure.
And Gene Roddenberry's birthday yesterday, 100 years old.
That's
you can't
true.
knock that. You can't forget that happened.
And the other thing
look
is,
at that.
I got this when I was there.
Oh, that's Shatner's hairpiece coming to life?
Hold on.
Exactly. I said, I want you to draw me as Shatner, but have my hairpiece try to run away from me, and I'm upset and angry at it.
I like you shooting the phaser at it. Who drew that, man?
I forget his name, but what they do is they bring these people in to do like different things.
Sure.
And I thought it was pretty good. And he said
that's awesome.
Yeah, he said at least it's an original because a lot of people are going, can you draw me as a Borg? Can you draw me this? And I said, no, draw me as Shatner. Shatner with his hairpiece.
Oh, that's something. That's something.
Was it?
Oh, that was free.
Oh my God,
that's free. Amazing. That's even better. Free's always good.
Wow.
What? When the collector guy on Lower Decks, going back to Lower Decks, the reason why we were here, says to Rutherford, I want to get you because you're one of the few cyborgs in Starfleet. He wanted to collect them or something. He was all into them. And I'm like, wait a second. Why would that be a big thing at this point? They just encountered the fucking Borg, who was an entire race of cyborgs, and this guy's like, "Oh, look, there's a cyborg in Starfleet."
but he's a Starfleet cyborg, and I mean, again,
but I didn't think he really was. I thought it was just a prosthetic.
He's also one of the only cartoon ones.
So
but honestly, a cyborg means part man, part machine.
Right.
So if you're a part machine, even a little part, you're a cyborg.
He's Steve Austin,
right? Yeah. Or even when.
So anybody out there that's got a metal hip? Yeah,
Family Guy, when Joe the cop is the paraplegic and stuff, the cop in the wheelchair, and Stewie kind of puts it there. He's like, wait a minute, Podman Pod Machine, go Cyborg. And I love that. And again, yeah, and you're like, and like Wayne said, the original book that $6 Million Man is based on. Cyborg.
Now, Wayne, I went to a Star Trek convention in 1975 or 6 here in Hartford, and Gene Roddenberry was the main guest. It was at the Hartford Civic Center, and back then they would have like a ring of like vendors, but all they really sold was like 8x10 pictures of the actors. Because I remember buying I like Dr. McCoy. I got a Dr. McCoy poster and a Dr. McCoy 8x10, and they had a couple books. But then they had the blooper reel. Do they still show that? The infamous Star Trek TV show blooper reel?
No, they haven't done the blooper reel.
That's on YouTube.
Is it? Yeah, they showed that. And then Roddenberry would come out and talk, and everybody cheered and yelled. There was maybe like a couple thousand people. It wasn't that big. And then he talked about how they're going to make a movie. And then the big thing of the night was they'd show the original Cage pilot, black and I think maybe it's color, black and white with Captain
Jeffrey
Pike.
Hunter.
Yeah, Jeffrey Hunter. And that was the big finale for the show. And I remember it was like $5 maybe to get into this thing. My mom took me to it when I was a kid. And is it still like the same atmosphere? A bunch of vendors just selling Star Trek stuff?
Yeah, just a bunch of vendors selling Star Trek stuff. And because they had to cancel karaoke Klingon karaoke.
Okay.
They did a Galaxy Quest with Anthony Montgomery.
A galaxy? What does that mean?
What do you mean?
Galaxy Quest. They did a movie.
So they
showed Galaxy Quest.
Q&A with Montgomery.
Yeah, with Anthony Montgomery.
Now wait, Anthony Montgomery, is he Mayweather?
Yes.
Okay, so why he hosted it?
He hosted it.
Okay.
Did they do anything about Roddenberry for his 100th birthday?
Yes, they did. His son was talking about a documentary that they're going to be doing on his father.
And they announced a Roddenberry archive that they're creating for all of his papers and footage and various things that he still had in his possession. And then sadly, and I just want to acknowledge it, I read it as well as Mitch this week, that poor Nichelle Nichols is in conservatorship.
Yeah, she's suffering from dementia.
Yeah. Well, we knew that. I mean, that was reported a while ago.
Yeah, but I knew that for like 2-3 years now because I tried to book her for the show and they say, well, she's not feeling that well. So
yeah, but it is a shame that I hope she is okay. It sounds like she's at her son's home.
Yeah.
In another state. But yeah, it's a shame that just like poor Stan Lee at the end, idiots are fighting over her estate.
Do you know her poor brother passed away? He was part of that cult that killed themselves. Remember that Bo guy?
Sure.
Heaven's. Yeah. Was it Heaven's Gate?
Heaven's Gate?
Not Heaven's Gate. It was
the spaceship one.
Yeah, the Hey Bob 90s. Comet or something was coming.
Yeah, right. The Hail Bob. Yes.
Yeah, he was one of those guys too.
Wow,
so I remember that. They said, one of the members was Nichelle's brother. I was like, wow.
No, messed up. And I wish in her prime, because she did, and really even in her older years, still had a beautiful singing voice, but I wish she would have had a chance to have an Eartha Kitt kind of singing career along with her acting, because she really, God, we see it in the original series, the few times they let her sing.
Yeah.
She did have a great voice, but really was doing, especially in the Chicago scene, a lot of the jazz clubs of the 50s.
Oh, she did?
Before she got her
I
acting
didn't know
break.
that.
Oh, yeah.
Is there any records of her? Any recordings?
As I said, I wish she would have had that career, so she would have.
No, but there's like nothing out there.
I know. Again, if she would, then she would have had the same career as her.
No bootlegs, Mitch.
No bootlegs back then. No.
Maybe. Hey, seriously, maybe some local independent label was smart enough to put her on Wax. I have no idea.
I don't know.
As far as I know, and maybe again, if everyone watching knows better. I'll even, something, Mitch, I'll even look on YouTube because, again, of course, if it exists, it's likely on YouTube.
Now, I remember she was at a show. Franco, you remember when Wizard World did that show at the Piers in New York, when New York Comic-Con and Wizard World went head-to-head? Mm-hmm. And they had their show at the Chelsea Piers in New York. And I remember you walked in, and there was Brent Spiner, William Shatner, and I think it was Janeway up front. And then in the back, I don't know what, they didn't want Takei and Nichelle Nichols to be near them, but they were like on the other side of the auditorium. I'm like, why do you have him up here with them and then Nichelle and Takei in the back? Very odd.
Okay, so
Shatner is going strong. Like he's like the Energizer Bunny.
Was he there?
God, yeah.
He showed up, and he was like, "Oh yeah, he showed up and he had energy." Nothing.
He's 9 years old. Yeah.
No, he's amazing. All right, I did find, and it looks like it's post Star Trek, because there's tons of stuff from her when she was older.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have no idea, but there's an album cover. I'll take a picture of it and show you of her doing, I guess, a cover of Dark Side of the Moon. So that was
Really?
definitely post. Again, that's post Star Trek, and I was saying pre Star Trek. But here, I'll take a picture of it and show you guys what it looks like.
Golden
yeah.
throats.
Well, no, again, because unlike the idiot Golden Throats who have no business singing, she's a great singer. She's an amazing.
Don't
singer.
you knock Leonard Nimoy's singing
Leonard
If I Had
Nimoy?
a Hammer. That's
Or
a
Bilbo,
great
or,
song.
or Bilbo.
Proud Mary keeps on toining.
Okay.
Keeps on boining.
We can wrap. That's we're fine. Let me show you this one little image and then let's all wrap. 1 second. And I appreciate everyone sticking around for the extra long
Look at him.
episode.
So happy.
He looks like this.
Oh, there he is. Yes.
This was $1. It was at the checkout for $1.
Is that the book that is about Leonard or whatever? Or
Well, it's mentioned in here. Yeah.
that
They didn't get along well towards the end. Ooh.
Right. So yeah, and that's obviously post Star Trek, but yeah, no, she still looks great.
Hell yeah.
So I don't know. I'm gonna have to listen to Michelle Nichols' interpretation of Dark Side of the Moon. I'm gonna sync it up with Wizard of Oz and see if suddenly William Shatner is conjured on the screen as melding them together. And I'm gonna smoke a lot of weed while doing it. That's the plan. So, all right, and let's wrap
Tuesday.
it up right there.
Wait, Wayne, did they talk anything about Captain Pike's show?
Oh, good.
Nothing really, other than it's in production.
There was no clips, no nothing.
No clips, no nothing.
And no start dates, I imagine, announced for
No start dates
for anything. I would imagine.
Yeah.
No movie news
because we don't even know. All we know about Discovery is it's coming late this year, if that's still the case.
And it was still filming, or they were just wrapping up filming.
That's that's okay. I don't mind because that happens a lot. I know
COVID's been a problem with the filming.
Yes,
the starting and stopping.
Sure.
Yep.
Sure. Yep. Absolutely.
Because all it takes is, especially up here, it just takes one any production up in Canada. All it takes is one person, and that's it. It shuts right down.
Yep.
For a few days.
You're absolutely right. If Mitch and Wayne want to continue, I can, but I know Franco wants to leave.
Franco wants to leave.
I have to go. Not that I want to leave. I have to go.
Just go to the bathroom.
Okay.
You guys keep.
I'm done.
Keep
We can be done. All right, let's wrap it up. Thank you everybody for watching. We'll be back next week with another review of Lower Decks Season 2 and probably What If as well. So until then, stay safe, stay happy, stay healthy.